Well, Sitaram, and a pleasant good morning to all of our viewers and listeners, and welcome to another edition of the program Addiction and Recovery. I'm your moderator this morning, Jason Kalu, and it's a wonderful, wonderful Thursday morning, a very hot Thursday morning, but nevertheless, another wonderful day here in Trinidad and Tobago. So join me as we welcome the host to the program Addiction and Recovery, Mr. Ramnes Dwarka. Sitaram to you, sir.
Jason, and thank you very much for again having me in the program. As I keep saying, it's a pleasure and a privilege. It's a privilege just to be able to be here today to share with our brothers and sisters information that could possibly help them to change their life. You know, Today is the only day we all have, Jason. Today, if we have to do anything in life, today is the day, and now is the time. Because yesterday is gone. And tomorrow, no one is assured of that. So I'm talking to our brothers and sisters out there. Please do not procrastinate. Do not put off doing things. There's a age-old saying, I learned way back in primary school that procrastination is the thief of time. So that when we put off things, we actually put off living. Because what we could have done today, if we don't do it today, then tomorrow will be used up. If we decided to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow time would be used up. So our whole life gets pushed back when we postpone. So again, I'm saying all of that to encourage everyone listening out there that today is as good a day as any other day to make that decision. And in fact, today is the only day we have. And the nice thing about that, Jason, is that, if you decide to stop drinking or smoking or eating that chocolate or, eating the things that would make you put on weight or being dependent on some other person to do for you what you should be doing for yourself. Addictions has many faces, Jason. It is not just about using alcohol. It has to do with becoming dependent on a substance or a person or anything in life. Now, there are some things that we can't help becoming dependent on, like some people now, because of age and infirmity, they have to use a walking stick because they have to weigh the pros and the cons of walking without it. You can fall and you can hurt yourself. Some people have a walker. So we have to use certain aids to help us. But some of these aids that we use to help us could become more pathological, more damaging than to do without it. And drugs is one of those things. Because alcohol and drugs, they do serve a purpose, Jason. People don't use it because they are mean or stupid or unintelligent. No, a lot of people would have started using it because of curiosity. And curiosity is a very powerful motivator. You too would have heard the saying in primary school that curiosity killed the cat. So our children and we ourselves at any age, I keep saying it, that I will only become old when I refuse to learn something new. I have said that so many times, but I haven't really given it so much thought. The fact is, that is still rooted in my curiosity. Even at my age, I am still very curious. And Jason, you are as well. And all our listeners who are listening to this program, one of the underlying reasons they are listening to this program is because of curiosity. So curiosity is a healthy thing. It is what helps us to learn and grow and understand and relate. It forms the basis for knowledge, so that it is something that should be encouraged. But again, unguided. When curiosity is not guided, not informed by direction, it can take us down the wrong path. And that is how it happened for me. I know that all our children who are going to school today, some of them are not even really curious about geography and English, but that curiosity is still encouraged in them so that they would learn. And they are tested to see how curious they were and how they were able to assimilate what they heard and read and what they wrote and observed. So that curiosity is not a bad thing, but it was that same curiosity that wanted me to experiment, because there's so much hype about alcohol and cigarette. And if for a minute there, Jason, you think about the advertisements, that we are bombarded with by the other media houses. And again, I have to thank this station for its responsible position of not advertising alcohol and cigarettes and all these things that are not good for you. And I have taken a cue from this station because I too have a business. And in our business up to this morning, a guy came and wanted to know if we sell cigarettes. And I said, no. My wife was so happy to tell him, no, 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 we don't sell cigarettes. We don't sell Monster drinks and all of those things. These drinks that are laced with caffeine and they're not good for you. You understand? We don't sell anything that is not good for you. Because on the one hand, I can't be in this program talking to all our brothers and sisters worldwide about living right. And then for a few pennies, I would be compromising my principle. No. In life, Jason, if you don't stand for something, you fall for everything. And I've taught my children and everybody I come in contact with, if that conversation comes up, I suggested to them in life, we need to stand for something. Who are the people we remember today, Jason? We don't remember the big shots in history, the millionaires and billionaires. In a short while, we forget about them. But we remember the Jesus Christ, the Ram, the Krishna, the Martin Luther King, the Gandhi. Why we remember these people, Jason, is because they were able to put their life on the line for what they believed in. They were willing to stand for something. And this is a lesson we need to pass on to successive generations. This is the only way we can keep the culture of integrity, of common sense, of honesty, of brother caring for brother. These are the value systems that we need to continue to propagate and pass on to our children, because failing them is what sets the stage for materialism and dependence and addiction. Is when we are not living right. We set up ourselves to incur, guilt, feelings of guilt, feelings, and that stress us out. You understand? When we do wrong things, Jason, the fact is, although we may pretend outside with a smile that, and try to act it out that, we are doing the right thing or we are not affected by the wrong things, but we are all, what is the ego really? The psychologists have suggested that there's a super ego and there's the id. The id, that is ID, id is the animal instincts that we were born with, the instincts for survival, that, the fight and flight response, where we would stand up and fight for what we believe in and what we have to defend, or we would run to save our lives, or we'll run from wrong and negativity, which we should. And then there's the superego. The superego is what Dr. Parasram and all these people is be reinforcing in the various programs. Our pundits and priests and teachers who are telling us, teaching us from small, honesty is the best policy. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. These are the value systems that is inculcated in us all the time. That we should look out, we should be our brother's keeper. That what we don't want for ourselves, we shouldn't give it to others. We know the feeling of hunger, so we should not deprive someone else of their food. We know pain when we get a wound, so we should not wound another person. We don't really have to go to school to learn a lot of these things, Jason. We come as though inbuilt in us with something called a conscience. And so long as we continue to do the right things, our our mind, our conscience is always not going to trouble us. But once we start doing the wrong things, even though we might get away with it, nobody saw when we stole something. Nobody saw when we, you know, did the wrong, picked the neighbor fruit or did something that would hurt another person. But we know it. It registers in our memory. And a lot of us are content, Jason, to just do the right thing when people are looking. But that is hypocrisy. Because even when I shower, Jason, I just wet myself and I turn the water off. Then I soak my skin and then I turn the water on again. Nobody's looking there. I am in the shower stall, but God is looking, and my mind and my conscience is at work. So if I waste water, even though nobody saw I wasted water, like when I'm shaving, for this to come to this program, I will wet my face, put the soaps, the shaving cream, and turn the pipe off so I don't waste water while I'm shaving. You understand? That way you can walk with a clear conscience and know that, look, I am doing the right thing. I'm not doing it to impress anyone, but I'm doing the right thing because it is the right thing. This way we are able to actually enjoy the journey of life rather than wait till we reach to some destination when we have the car or we have the properties or we have all of those, then to enjoy ourselves. And if we even achieve those things by using illegal, unlawful means, then even when we achieve it, we will not be happy. And that is the basic reason that a lot of people turn to using drugs, because they want to buy happiness. They want to be able to take a drink and immediately transform from being sad into happy. That's the same reason a lot of people are eating things like sugar and chocolate, because it makes them feel pleasurable. Although they know that, look, this is not good for me, that there are going to be consequences. And again, while we encourage our children's curiosity, we need at the same time to help them to understand that there are consequences for behavior, for everything that we do. Physics would have taught us in school that there's a relationship between cause and effect. Everything that is caused has an effect. Every movement has an effect. So that there must be consequences. So if we do good things are going to happen. If we do bad things, whether anybody knew about it or not, bad things are going to happen. So coming back to the basic underpinning of drug addiction is our curiosity is what leads us to explore and in recreation, we use the drugs to explore what we are seeing in the media, all the advertisements and all of that. And coming back to my own experience, yes, at first I took it because of curiosity, but not only the media, Jason. We live in a society, in a community where we are seeing the older people, the neighbors, the friends, the society. We live in a society in Trinidad and Tobago, Jason, where there's no shortage of excuses to take a drink. It is actually promoted and supported as though it is the norm. And children come to accept it, that look, the way to entertain is you have to have a drink available. If friends come over to your place for Christmas or for Easter or for Thanksgiving or for whatever fest, even when we have any other gathering, family gathering, it seems like the priority is a tray, wait on the table with all the various blends. And some of us actually, use it as something to boast about. That we have the blue and we have the whiskey that is black and white and the various blends. You understand? And it has to be there so that even the participants, when they're leaving, they can brag about it. Boy, I went over to that place and the man had everything and he had this. But if there was no alcohol, most people in Trinidad will come back and say, boy, the man didn't give us a drink, because Morbi and sea moss and juice and all of those coconut water don't are not considered drink in Trinidad. A drink is a drink, which is alcohol. And our children are learning this. So it becomes second nature. So that, again, we as the adults, those of us who are influencers, there's a category of people now in media who are a whole category that are called influencers. And I'm still curious to see what these people do, how they are influencing the society. You understand? They're getting you to buy things you don't need. They're getting you to register for things that is unnecessary. You understand? And the whole society is full of, well, you have the formal influencers who are paying and studying to become that. But the neighbor and the peer group, these are powerful influencers. You understand? The social media group now, all of these social media are really acting as influencers. Facebook, I mean, we are using it for good. This morning I posted one of our program on Facebook, and I saw the station also posted the program. So I posted it for those people who are following me. And of course, I am trying to influence people as well. I'm hoping that they will look at the program, or that our brothers and sisters who are listening to this program, in some way, we would influence them to think about what we are saying, so that they may be able to choose, make their decisions that would be influenced by what we are saying, and hopefully prevent themselves from going down that precipice that I went down to, and all of those brothers and sisters who became addicted, and the majority of them who would have died because of their addiction. So I'm saying this morning that today is that day. Please do not postpone that decision. And remember, you don't have to stop using the cigarette or the alcohol or the prescription pill, the mood altering drug that you're taking, the sleeping pill, the anti-anxiolytics, all of those things. You don't have to stop taking it for your rest of your life. If you are on prescription pills, work out with your doctor and your psychiatrist. How are you going to get off these things? And if he says you can't, then come and see me. I will show you how to get off. I've been using acupuncture to help people get off drugs that they have been on for 10 and 15 and 20 years. Yes, when you have become dependent on any substance, whether it be legal or illicit drugs, whether it be prescription pills, or it is alcohol or marijuana or cocaine, and if you have been using it for a long time, your mind becomes dependent on it, your body becomes dependent on it, your lifestyle starts to revolve around it. And once you realize, if you're honest with yourself, you would realize that, hey, this thing is not doing any good for me. Eventually, anyone who has been on a drug for a long time would realize their body is developing tolerance, Jason. That whereas in the first case they might have used 2 milligrams of a tablet, now they have to take 10 and 15 milligrams because their body has developed tolerance. Whereas they were taking one beer in the beginning and feeling the buzz and feeling tipsy, now they have to drink punch in rum. And some of them, steel and brass, that is punching with curry. And they have to drink more of it and more often, otherwise they're not feeling the kick. You understand? And that's what you really get when you use it, you get a kick. And so you develop tolerance. And once a person, even though listening to this program and realizing, look, this thing is going to kill me, because I have worked in this field for pretty near 40 years now. And I can tell you that there are only three places that alcohol and drug and illicit drugs, all of these things can take you, In Trinidad, there are three places. One is it can take you to St. Anne's, the madhouse. And I've seen so many people eventually end up there with drug-induced psychosis. Not only illicit drugs, from illicit drugs as well. It can take you into prison. And I'm sure, Jason, you are aware of a lot of people You know, as we speak here, there's a lot of people before the magistrates and judges this morning because of some drug-related offense. They went and stole somebody's thing. They got drunk and bunged somebody's car. Drove, you know, they had to steal to support their habit. It is estimated that 60% of the prison population is there because of some drug-related incident, you know, Jason. Either defending their turf, selling the drugs, getting in trouble because they were inebriated. And a similar percentage are in the hospital as well because of some drug-related, you know. And then if you look, a sizable amount of the magistrate and judges caseload for domestic violence is predicated on alcoholism and drug addiction. You understand? And it is, I mean, I can't count how many people would have passed away because of drugs. It's happening every day. How many people, you know, are getting themselves in trouble on their job, in their relationships, and all of that, causing so many social problems that finds its genesis in drug use and drug addiction. So that knowing all of this, one anyone listening out there, you if you choose, look, I don't want to go down that path. You know, either prison, madhouse, or cemetery. Those are not places that we would voluntarily aspire to this. I mean, we'll all have to die. The cemetery we can't avoid, but we could avoid the madhouse and the prison. You understand? And wait and live a full life until we are ready to meet our maker again. You understand? But you know, when I was drinking, I would say, you know, if you drink, you're still going to die. If you don't drink, you're still going to die. And I like to drink, so I will drink. You understand? And we invent all kind of reasoning and warped rationalizations to continue to drink, and so that we could feel comfortable with our drinking. So coming back to anyone listening to this program today, remember, you only have to stop for today. And you don't even have to stop for the whole day. You just have to not take that next drink. So, you know, if you, of course, if you want, and here I want to give some tips about, you know, the initial stages, making that decision. One is you look back at the role alcohol and drugs have played in your life, or whatever it is you have become dependent. And as I say, dependent, sometimes we become dependent on relationships as well that are pathological, Jason. Some of us get addicted to relationships, like, okay, there's these people who are married, they are in a marriage relationship, they have children, yet they are looking outside of the relationship. They're having extramarital affairs, which they know is going to explode like you know, a bomb when the other persons find out. It will be disastrous. But there's such a thing as a sexual addiction as well. People don't get addicted to only drugs, Jason. They get addicted to behaviors as well. Because, you know, drugs makes us feel happy, euphoric, but so too do certain relationships. They make us feel good about ourselves and make us feel happy as well. Is based on this thing we call love and all of that. And so some people, they are in a relationship, but in love with somebody outside of the relationship. And I'm sure we have seen or heard of those triangles. And these are like Bermuda Triangle, you know, they can only cause you destruction. And it is just as difficult to stop those things. And I'm saying the 12-step program that you and your staff, Jason, have played, those fellas in the operating studio played just before the program, the 12 steps are vital and have been found to be most effective than any other program that I have ever come across in my whole life and in the world. And I've done a lot of research. The 12-step program has been most effective in helping anyone. And now it first started with using it to help people come off alcohol. That was Alcoholics Anonymous. Then it was found to be useful in helping the wives and children of alcoholics who were affected by the parents or the spouses' drinking and drug behavior. And so they had Al-Anon, and then they had Alateen. These are support groups using the same 12-step program to help people to deal with their dependence, the spouse dependence on the alcoholic husband or wife, or the children's dependence on alcoholic parents, to help them to understand and deal with it. And then these same 12-step found application in Narcotics Anonymous, in that they found that it can help you to come off any other drug. And there's also Prescription Pills Anonymous. Now there's Gamblers Anonymous. So it's not only going to help you to stop using drugs that are causing damage to you and that you're powerless over, it can help you to stop behaviors. There's also Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, Jason. I know a lot of people in Trinidad. We don't have any groups here, but I know of it abroad, and there's literature written about it. So that these same 12 steps or unbehaviors can be stopped. These 12 steps can help us to not only stop using substances, but can help us to also stop becoming dependent on certain behaviors. So that today is that day when you have to make that decision. Far too often, alcoholics, drug addicts, people who have become dependent, they use procrastination, and tomorrow never comes. I did that for years. Every Old Year's night, I would, from all September, October, I would be telling myself, look, from New Year's, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to stop using any drugs at all. And yes, and with all good intention, with all the earnestness I could command, I would look forward. And of course, now in retrospect, I realize I was saying that so that I could excuse myself for drinking all from September, October, November, December, because remember, I am going to stop. So when I tell my parents and tell everybody else, they say, all right, let him drink now because he's going to stop. And I honestly meant to do it. That's the strange thing. And I always had a very strong willpower. I prided myself on having a will of steel. My friends and the people who know me growing up as a child and as a teenager, they could vouch for this, that if I say I'm doing something, I am doing it. So based on, the respect I had gained for being very, very reliable when I say I'm going to do something, they will allow me. Nobody would complain. Okay, give him a break. And then Old Year's night, I would honestly go and kneel down. I remember we had a little room in the house down Gandhi Village where I grew up, and I would kneel down there when I hear the siren. Yes, they're just siren in Eugene St. Madeleine factory would blow at 12, signaling the change from Old Year's to New Year's. And as soon as I heard it, I would go and kneel down there and I would ask God to help me to stop. And I had all the earnestness and I honestly asked God to help me. But you see, I have come now to realize you have to pray to God as though everything depends on God. And that's what I did. But I had to work as though everything depended on me. And I did not know what to do. Yes, I had the desire, I had the intention, I had asked God in prayer, but I did not know how to do it. So the next day, with all good intention, I would start my day without taking a drink. But then somehow, before the end of the day, I would go back and drink, and I could not understand how and why. Because, yes, families would come, all my brother-in-laws and everybody would come for the New Year's. And my own family who were telling me I should stop drinking, they would tell me, well, all right, take a drink today. And from tomorrow you would stop because look, your brother-in-laws and your family from all over are here today. Okay, take a drink with them. And they would say the same thing because they did not understand the nature of alcoholism. An alcoholic is a person who can't predict what will happen after he takes that first drink. You know, and because I did not understand alcoholism at the time, I thought, well, yes, I could just take today, And from tomorrow, I would renew my commitment, only to find I would drink for the whole year again. And so many of our brothers and sisters and that is what this program is about. It's about helping people to understand that once you have crossed that imaginary borderline from social drinking to compulsive drinking, Jason, you can't go back to social drinking. And it doesn't matter whether how much you drink doesn't really determine whether you're an alcoholic, because there are people who are social drinkers who could drink as much as they want and still next day go back about their business because they have not become addicted, they have not become dependent. And so a lot of people out there do not know how to distinguish whether you're an alcoholic or you're a social drinker. And maybe as we are on this point, let me just reiterate. It doesn't matter how much you drink or how often you drink. That does not really determine whether you're an alcoholic. What determines whether you're an alcoholic is once you take that first drink. Once you take that first drink and it starts a craving in you for another one, you're an alcoholic. Because there are people who are alcoholics who can stay without taking a drink for years. I'm an alcoholic and I haven't had a drink for the last 39 years and 9 months. But Jason, if I go and take one drink today, it would wake up that devil inside of me for another drink. And I learned that the hard way over all those years that I drank, and from listening to so many other people who did not understand that and went back to drink after many years of stopping. So I am not about to, my curiosity is not going to take me there anymore to experiment with whether I could go back and drink socially. I've heard it from too many people, and this is one of the reasons a lot of people continue to go to AA meetings, because they need to be reminded, hey, you can't go back and drink, because to go back and drink is to die. So that for you who are listening out there, who are following this program, you can decide right now, here and now, okay, I am, and it takes a lot of honesty for you to look at yourself, look at the role alcohol has been playing in your life. How many times it got you into trouble in the family? How many times you spent money you did not plan to? How many times you got into arguments because of being drunk while being under the influence and after being under the influence? How many times you got into arguments because an alcoholic who may drink last night, but when he's in withdrawal, he's very irritable, very short-tempered, and likely to get into a lot of arguments as a result. How many times you got in trouble with the law? You understand? How many times you were missing from work or got in trouble on the job or got suspended because of your drinking? If all of these things have been happening, and you sit down today and you understand it, look, go back to when you before you started to drink heavily and look at how your life was. You will probably see that, look, you had much more control, you were engaged in productive activities. For those of you who might have stopped for a little while, look at during that time how your life was going. Wasn't it going better? So you need to ask yourself the question, would my life be better if I stopped drinking? Now, for people who do not know how to enjoy themselves without a drink, who have become psychologically dependent, they are probably going to say no, that their life wouldn't be better because they do not know how to enjoy themselves without drinking or relate and coexist without drinking. But the fact is, you will not know unless you stop. But for those of you who go back to when before you were drinking, you realize that your life was very much different. And if you want to go back to that life, there's a saying, Jason, you could run, you could walk, you can creep, you can even crawl to freedom. But you can't stagger to freedom. Because when you're staggering physically, individually, and in life as well, your life is not going anywhere. It's like you walk 2 foot forward, 4 foot backward, 3 foot sideways, and you fall down. your life don't go anywhere. It's actually, for me, it was actually going in reverse. As I drinking progressed in my life, I started to lose the respect of my family and friends. I started to feel less and less competent. I started feeling my self-esteem started to go down. I always felt inadequate without alcohol. So now that I've stopped, I can tell you, I don't have to take a drink to enjoy myself. I can do anything. I can sing, dance, do whatever, make a speech, do this program without having to take a drink. Can you imagine in my drinking days if I had to sit here and speak with you with a sober head? I would have been stuttering and stammering and nervous, and all kinds of things would have been happening with me because I did not know. So coming back to those people who make resolutions secretly or openly and then they fail, I understand that because yes, you want to stop, you have asked God to help you, but now you have to do a few things. One you have to do is avoid that first drink one day at a time. Stay away from where alcohol is available. If you don't have it, you can't use it. So that the first step to staying sober is distance yourself from where it is available. When I decided to stop drinking, Jason, I got rid of all the alcohol in the house. Some people will argue, well, if you're not drinking, you're not drinking, but you shouldn't have a problem with other people who are drinking. And I agree with them. But I live in this house and I don't want to make myself vulnerable because I know I can't drink. And to have it right there, and for that matter, for all the almost 40 years that I've been sober, I have never ever bought a drink for anyone. Because in principle, if I get up in the morning, Jason, and I say, God, help me to stay away from this poison. Because that is what it is. If you drink, if you really drink excessive alcohol, it can poison and kill you right there on the spot. There are people who wanted to show off their ability to drink, take a flask of rum and drank it down and fell right there, dropped dead. Because alcohol is a poison. It can do that. And coming back to the fact is, if I am praying and asking God to help me to stay sober, how can I have any moral conviction or authority to take it with my own hand and give it to a brother or a sister? To me, I feel God will vex with me. You understand? That would be wrong for me to do that because I have heard people come work for me and they say, well, boss, we just finished the roof. The tradition is you should buy something to wet the flag. We have all kind of excuses. I said, no, Brett, I will pay all you go and wet your flag somewhere else. You understand? I am not going to take these hands and give anybody a cigarette or give him alcohol to drink. No, no, no. Even if I've had several weddings here and I've invited my relatives to come. And, when they come, they say, boy, you aren't drinking, but we drinking, you have nothing there. I say, no, Breads. And for that, I admire people like one of our presidents, Noor Hassan Ali, who never served alcohol in president's house. We need leaders like these who have the courage of their convictions, who stand for something. People like our own, we have people, several people, I mean leaders in our community who setting that example, of living a good life, an exemplary life. And we don't do it to show off, but we do it. It's good. You feel good to do the right thing. So coming back to this is how you stop drinking. You get up in the morning, you ask God to help you to stop drinking just for today. I'm a Hindu, I throw my gel, I ask God to help me to stay sober today. Having said that, I stay away from the rum shop and the parties and all of that, especially in the beginning. I ain't going there. I can't tame lion, so I ain't going in the cage with them brothers. You understand? And even Jesus Christ said that when the devil tempted him on the mountain, he said, look, you're the son of God. Jump, and God will send his angels to save you. And you know what he said? Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. So that you don't do that. Even if you're staying sober, you don't go and test yourself. You don't go and sit down with your partners and them in the rum shop and see if they could make you drink. No, you're just setting yourself up to get drunk. So that first day, I get up, I throw my gel, I ask God to help me remain sober. I wanted a soft drink. I went quite up the road in the parlor. I could have gone next door in the rum shop and buy it, but I wanted to show God I did my part of the bargain. I was suggested to me that I should keep my stomach full, and I know that when my stomach full, I don't feel the urge to drink. So if you want to stop drinking today, go and keep your stomach full. If you're getting the urge, take something sweet, a sweetie or a juice. Keep your stomach full, take something sweet. It mitigates the urge. It gives you the ready energy so that you don't have to take the alcohol. And if the urge will come, especially in the beginning, in the first few days and so on, a lot of people describe, getting the urge to take that drink because they're in withdrawal. Okay, some people in withdrawal, they have the shakes. For those people, they may have to have additional help. And for that, acupuncture is very effective to help you deal with the shakes and the insomnia. A lot of people, when they stop drinking or using the sleeping pills and all of that, they have trouble to sleep. There's something called sleep therapy that I take patients through. I teach people in recovery how to be able to sleep without having to take that pill or that alcohol or that drug, how to deal with the anxiety, which is also one of the withdrawal symptoms. You can use your breathing techniques, taking deep breaths to help you with the anxiety. There are many healthy ways without having to take the drug or the pill and all of that. There are herbs that can be used to help with insomnia, like chamomile and all of those teas that people can take. So I know the program time always runs out when we're getting to this point. But of course, anyone listening, if you want further information, all you have to do is call me at 671-3040, and I would be able to share this information. Even groups out there, temple groups, other organizations, you want me come and speak to your groups, I would be happy to do that, so that if we could save anyone from going down this road, and for the person who is deciding today to stop, like I said, keep your stomach full. If you're getting the urges, you can call someone, talk to someone, tell someone, look, I'm getting the urge to take a drink. Once you discuss it with someone, you're not going to take it. You understand? There are some people who also rebuke the devil. Some would say, get thee behind me, Satan. Because for a lot of people, they realize that this alcohol and these drugs and all of that, Jason, is really a device used by the devil to enslave our mind. In fact, the whole of AA believe in that. And you'll hear if you went to an AA meeting, that every member who goes up there and speak, they'll tell you it is but for the grace of God that they are sober today. And not only Hindu God walking in, Jason, Muslim God walking too, Christian God, because in AA you even have atheists who believe in a higher power or no power at all. And they are telling you that, look, they're getting help to stay sober. Because if you're having the urge and you call someone, it means that you really don't want to take. And let me say to our listeners out there, the urge to take that drink only lasts about 7 seconds. All you have to do is stick with it and remind yourself, look, I'm not going to die if I don't take that cigarette. I'm not going to die if I don't take that smoke of marijuana. I'm not going to die if I don't eat that chocolate. I'm not going to die if I don't take. You understand? In fact, if you take it, you are hastening your death. For every cigarette we smoke, it is estimated we cut out 7 minutes of our life. We shorten it by 7 minutes. And there's a school of thought, Jason, that our life is estimated in the amount of breaths. In life, you are allotted a certain amount of breaths in and out. So let's suppose you had 3 billion and whatever the amount of thousand. Every time we take a smoke, we shorten that. Every time we get angry and we breathe faster, then we are shortening our lives. So to all our listeners out there, find something to laugh about. Think about something that you could be grateful for. Anytime you feel depressed, just reach down into your bag of gratitude. That's what I do. These are the things that has worked for me, that has kept me going for the last so many years. that I've stopped drinking, and I can tell you, my life has been transformed. Today, if God's self had come and told me on the 11th of December 1983, when I stopped drinking, that someday I'd be doing a program like this, Jason, I would have probably wondered if he was drunk or something. You understand? I couldn't anticipate it, that I could stop drinking. I could go back to school. I could qualify myself. I could come and I could become once more a useful, productive human being. All my drinking friends, every one of them, have passed on. And a lot of them younger than me. And it is so regrettable, that I could not, you know, for all my efforts, was able to stop some of my friends, but many of them did listen, and they have stopped drinking today. There are strangers who I meet from time to time who have listened to this very same program, Jason. I feel so good for the work that we are doing here when I meet people out there who tell me that, look, I've listened to you and Jason, and look, I've stopped drinking. I'm so many days sober. I'm so many months sober. I'm so many years sober now. You understand? There are a lot of people who have listened to this program and very quietly made that decision. And I feel pretty certain today, Jason, we are going to reach somebody. I'm not evangelizing about this, but we are going to influence someone today. Even if they don't stop today, we would have planted the seed of hope in their mind, that they will know there is something they can do to change their lives. There's some place they can go. There's someone that they can speak to. And I want all our brothers and sisters listening out there today to know that there are people you can speak to. I know a lot of people call this radio station, they get the number, and they have saved their life. I can't say who they are, but as I speak to you, I know who they are because they call me to say thank you. But I want to let our listeners know that myself and you, Jason, I'm speaking for you here. We are only instruments of God's will. We really can't do anything. God is the one who does the work. So we don't take the credit for it, Jason. So we will not have to take the blame for anything. All right. I took the liberty to speak for you as well, but I see you smiling and you don't disagree with me. Because I personally believe that today we are going to reach someone. Someone is going, of our brothers and sisters out there, is going to listen to this program. We could cause them to think, and maybe they will accept that their life would be better if they change, if they stop using drugs. And I want them to let them know that help is available. All you have to do is call. And I want to thank you. And I want to
Mm.
thank the staff. And I want to thank the CEO, Mr. Vijay Maharaj, who has kindly consented to give of this valuable time of, radio time. I know how expensive it is. When if you have to pay for a little ad for a few minutes, I know how expensive. A lot of people don't know this, but this station has been giving this program as a charity, as a community service out there for all these years since they started. Every Thursday, it used to be on Friday, so that our brothers and sisters out there can get help. So I want to thank the staff and the administration and yourself for hosting me again. And thank you. And this program will be again broadcast tonight, and it will be posted hopefully on YouTube and Facebook and all whatever social media I could get my hands on, so that those people who are unable to listen to it live because of work, they can go back and replay it as many times. And I want to say to organizations and to groups and to individuals, they have my permission to use this program if it will help any brother and sister out there to change their life. You can use it. There's a series here that will help you to determine whether you're an alcoholic, what to do about it, the 12-step program. Jason, we have been talking about all the various things. So there's a whole series of them that people can now use. If there's anybody who have a drug problem, you can refer them. Just type in my name, or you can go to the station 102.7 FM, and you can access the programs and have them listen to it in their own good time and help them to make that determination that they can do something about their drug addiction in their life. Thank you again, Jason.
All right, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, Mr. Dwarka. And today, you can make that resolution to stay stop. Why? Because the time is now, and we only promise today. So until next Thursday, I'm Jason Kalu saying see you around for now.